All right, guys. Welcome to episode number 7, Texas Gulf Surfer.
Hey, everybody. My name's Jeff Dinacola, man. This is a podcast about surfing. And you know what? Just happens to be my favorite subject. So this is great. I'd like to introduce my co-host, the always interesting and ever-present king of Surfside, Austin Campbell.
Thanks,
Just
Jeff.
my
Thanks.
thing.
Hey, yeah. So we got another guest. Everybody said they liked having guests. They probably get tired of hearing us talk. So we asked Margarey Valdez to come on and talk to us. A lot of y'all know her from the water and from other stuff. So if you don't, tell us a little bit about yourself, Margarey.
Hi, guys. I'm Margarey. Like you said, you know me. I live in Lake Jackson, and I'm here today to hang out with these guys and hear what they have to say.
Yeah. So
It's all about surfing, if you can be really easy.
yeah, Margarey, God, we've known each other for a long time. We started a business together, School of Surf. So, we met out in the water. God, it's been years ago. So,
Man, tell me about that school surf. How does that work? You guys run it together, and then it's for all ages. Just come, you set a lesson with you guys here through Surf Station, and then they book it, and you go down there. Tell me how that works real quick.
Well, they can actually book online. They can send emails or book online. We do individual lessons, groups, and birthday parties. We have done camps in the past. People want us to do camps more. That's a lot of work. We got a little old, a little fast, right?
Yeah. The camp. I mean, it is. It's real fun, but you get a lot of. When you do a week camp, shout out to
hard.
Morgan Faulkner and those guys, because when they do those camps, man, it is a lot of work. So I give them a lot of props, man.
Yeah, so everybody, man, you're looking to bring someone out and teach them to surf, man. Get School of Surf right here at Surfside, Texas, man. Good, fun time.
It really is like the best thing ever. I forget because, I've got a lot of stuff going on in life. And then I go teach a lesson, and that feeling of pushing somebody into that first wave and them being so excited. And when we teach lessons, especially when we do these groups,
Yep.
we just watch people just go one after another. We just try to get people on as many waves as possible.
What a joy, right?
It's so much fun.
It's, man, because you get people from all over the place. I'd say over the years we did a lot of lessons. Now, like you said, both of us, when we started School of Surf, right, we were both not really doing a whole bunch of, different things. I was building some surfboards and you were doing some other stuff.
Starting the marketing.
Yeah, started marketing. So, but we both got real busy. I have the surf station now. So we kind of got out of the camps, but you were given some surf lessons somewhere else where you lived, right? You lived somewhere else before?
Yeah. So I grew up in Puerto Rico, and that's where I learned to surf. Yeah. And so I actually learned to surf. I kind of just, got aboard and went out there. I didn't have surf lessons. So, and I was not good at it. I was not a natural surfer,
Right.
It took me forever to learn. But I used to go to this one beach, and there was this guy. His name was Bobby Quinones.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually a world-class bodyboarder, which is big in Puerto Rico, bodyboarding.
It really is, yeah.
And he would teach lessons at this beach. And so I would sit under the palm tree, like beside where he was teaching these tourist lessons, and just listen to what he had to say. And then I'd follow them out into the, and check out and see what he was doing. And finally one day he realized it, and he walked over to me and he was like, "Hey, are you watching my lessons?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then after that, he would come up and just say things and help me out, help me learn.
Well, that's cool, man. I didn't even know that about you because
Oh, really?
I love Puerto Rico. I surf there a lot. But you're quite a interesting gal. You're involved with a lot of stuff. I do some research, man. You're super
Research.
involved with Brazoria County. You do a lot for the county and the city, and I understand it's about business promotions and the Chamber of Commerce and things like that. And I think that's cool. I follow you online. You're always involved with something that has to do with promoting, good for this county, and I think that's great. So, what is that about?
I think it's because I really love Brazoria County. And
Yeah.
I think it's, one of those. I lived in Puerto Rico. I grew up in a small town in Texas. I lived in Corpus for a while. And when I moved to Brazoria County, I just was like, this place is awesome. I love the size of the town that I live in. I love how close we are to the beach. I love our beach community here. I like that we get Houston access really fast. So I think it's just a love for where I live and wanting it to be just awesome and better, and thinking there are great people doing awesome things and trying to be as much a supporter of that as I can. So.
Well, that's inspiring, man, that you're doing that for us here, and I think it's great.
you.
We're always trying to get more business, especially here in Surfside Beach. Lake Jackson's kind of got a pulse of its own. We're always trying to get more business, more people to come down here. And you're kind of instrumental in that as well.
Well, I think that was something when we started School of Surf, because having lived in Corpus, there was tons of youth in the water there. And I'm like, it's the same situation. The Bluff, Corpus, Rodfield, over there. Those are the people that were surfing on the island. And I'm like, why aren't Lake Jackson, Clute, Freeport, why aren't these kids surfing here? It never made sense to me. I was the youngest person in the lineup at 28 or something whenever.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
30.
so like when I was in high school, back in the day,
Back in the
way back in the day, we had quite a few people that surfed in high school. In intermediate school, high school, there was a lot more young people. In fact, Surfside had a ton of people that lived here, right? So there's a lot more kids. But yeah, for sure now, if you go to the high school, man, I bet you there's not very many people that surf, right? Yeah, I even ask my daughter sometimes. So we, when we started doing it, I think it was mostly for, teaching kids. That was our main goal. Of course, we've done lessons for adults. I think our motto was 4 to 104.
4 to 104.
4 to 104, something like that. So
I think the oldest person I taught was like 77, I think, or something like that. A lady. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And I just want to throw this out there. We have not forgot up and down the coast. We're going to do that towards the end of the show instead of the beginning. I think I was just so excited to have you on and just to talk to you about different things. And so tell me, I know when I first kind of got to know you, you were coming out and do TGSA events, and you were a tenacious competitor. You always had a great attitude, and you did very well. And then I just kind of want to know what it was like for you in the beginning, coming to Surfside, kind of breaking into somewhat of a male-dominated sport, which is surfing, and you just took it on with you did everything right, and I really admired that about you. But so tell me about that and breaking into the crew like this and the locals down here. And
to be honest, it was really tough because mostly because, I did surf Corpus for a while. I still always surf like Puerto Rico. I'm a reef break person. That's how I learned to surf. So surfing in Texas in general is just hard for me. It's a totally different type of surfing. Paddling into the wave is different. Everything about the technique is different. So when I came and moved here, like you talk about breaking into the group or the lineup, like number one is you got to know how to surf, right? Like you're not going to nobody's going to really be like, hey, if you're just kind of out there. And that's how I felt. I felt like I was just out there paddling around. Even though I knew I competed in Puerto Rico. I mean, I longboard competed in Puerto Rico several years. And here I looked like a kook. So, but I think the day that actually maybe I broke into it was actually, it's funny because I didn't even remember that it was you, but now I know it was you. Yeah, and I think it was Michael and Les and like a bunch of people that I now know, but I didn't it's not like that day I met them. But it was a day where it was offshore and it was breaking. We had the houses still. And so it was breaking over by the houses.
The ghost houses.
Yeah.
And then, is that the name for them
now? They're gone. Yeah, they're gone. The ghost houses.
The ghost houses. Yeah. So we were out by the ghost houses, and everybody was sitting on the outside, and I was out on the outside and doing the same thing. Like, this just sucks. Like, I want the wave to break. Why isn't the wave breaking? That's how I feel a lot of times.
Yes.
When you grow up on a reef break, we're at
it's got a little more. It's got a lot more push. Here, you got to.
Yeah.
You got to paddle for the wave. You got to really paddle for the waves here,
Forever. So I'm sitting out there, and I see this group of guys sitting on the inside catching these inside waves. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go try that because this sucks out here. So I went on the inside, and, of course, they're, just crashing, like, super fast. But I got into the hang of it. I got beat up a ton. Just take it, and you hit the sandbar and everything. But I think I got into the hang of it and was catching some waves. And the guys were like, whoa, what are you doing in here on the inside? Longboard girl. It was weird. So I think that kind of gave me the confidence maybe to kind of start reaching out and getting to know people.
So now you're here on the Gulf Coast, but in particular, dive a little bit deeper. When you go out into Surfside, sometimes guys in general, the crowd cannot be so welcoming to a newcomer, and especially female, and I think that's totally wrong. Because
I love you for asking this question.
Yes,
it's so good.
Because I am pro women surfing. Let me tell you why. You watch some of these women surfing, not just here in Texas and throughout the world. They're so graceful and elegant when when they're surfing. When I surf, it's kind of like dinosaur trying to get to the nose, and you guys are like just ballet dancing up to the nose, and I just really am a fan. But I want to hear about this.
Well, I love that you asked this question because I felt like my number one goal coming on this podcast. By the way, thank you guys for having me here.
No.
Today. It was awesome.
I feel like you've surfed a lot. I mean, all over the world, really. A lot of places, right?
Yeah.
You surfed a lot of places, so you have some experience. Being a woman, surfing in different areas, so it's good to talk about, and then encouraging other women to get out there to surf. So
I think there's positive and negative. I want to highlight the positive because it'd be wrong to be like, oh, it's terrible being a women surfer.
Okay.
Traveling is the positive, right? We're a lot more accepted in a lineup if you're somewhere else than I think a guy. So if there's a lot of localism, I think that, being a woman softens that blow a little bit.
Okay.
The negative is that a man, actually anyone, automatically assumes you don't know what you're doing when you're out there.
I can say that, and that's not fair.
You get mansplained out there in the lineup ever?
You get mansplained a lot. So I will say, okay, so a couple of things. One, I do it too to women, right? So I'm not going to be like man hate, right? Because I do it too. If you're paddling out, think about it. When you're going out there, you're just constantly making calculations from the minute you hit the water. How's the water moving? Is it moving this way? Is it moving that way? What's that? How's the pitch today? Where is it breaking? Who's in the water? Is Austin gonna drop in on me 18 times? I need to move over here a little.
Only
bit.
if we're friends.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're friends.
Everyone's my friend.
So you're making all these calculations, and a lot of them are at other surfers. Is that guy, should I sit right here? Especially here in Texas, because we don't have a specific peak, right?
Correct.
So because we kind of have to make these calculations, one of the calculations we make is that's a woman and she doesn't know how to surf, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think that is something we definitely deal with. And I think that if I could give like a PSA to men right now.
Okay.
We're
wide open and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Unless a woman asks you a question about how she is surfing or what she should do, don't offer any advice. She does not want you to, okay?
So, there's quite a few women out there that surf better than quite a few men out there in our lineup. I'll just say that, I mean, like there's some, look, Margarey, you're a pretty good surfer. We went to BSR and you took your longboard.
Yeah.
You were the only one on the longboard. You know what I'm saying?
Because it was a pitchy wave. That was like my wave.
I'm taking my shortboard because it's the only place I can ride my shortboard, right? But you were out there and we surfed
4 hours of lefts.
That was a good. So that's a good story. So we get invited with Tom Taylor and Stefan, everybody. So we get out there and man, I think we've been surfing for maybe, I don't know, an hour or something like that. And I said, hey, when are we going right? And they were like, we're not. We're going left the whole time.
We were the only two regulars.
We were the only two regular footers out there. And they said, we're going left the whole time. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. I said, hey, I think they're going left the whole time, but they got to be joking. So another hour goes by, and I'm like, are we really going left the whole time? And they were like, yeah, it's, everybody, you're the only, you and Margarey are the only regular footers here. And I looked around, and turns out Stefan was right. We were the only regular footers there. So we surfed, I would say that day, I don't know about you, but I surfed more lefts than I ever did in my whole life.
Yeah,
so,
accumulated entire life.
But we were on the expert wave, and you were out there on your longboard. I've seen people like that are expert surfers kooking that thing. So you were good. And then,
that was super fun.
And then like Molly.
Yeah,
one of my favorite.
I bet
female
Molly.
surfers,
I bet Molly could beat half the guys in a longboard contest. I mean, I'm sure she looks better than me on a longboard. Most of the time when she's walking.
Grace on the shortboard.
Grace is a killer.
Absolutely. I call her the honey badger.
Yeah, she's a killer. She rides a shortboard killer. So I think you're right. Because a lot of times, if you're out there surfing, I'm guilty of this even from friends of mine because we're surf instructors, right? I see people surfing. We probably got better at surfing from being surf instructors because you started practicing what you preach, right? And then I see some guys that surf, they're just as good or better than me, and they're surfing with their legs all flailing everywhere, or paddling bad, and I wanted to go up and go, hey man, hey you should put your feet together and you should paddle better, and man, they'd be like, shut up, man, I'm better than you. So, but
Well,
I mean, so yeah, exactly, you know.
I think that is kind of the hard part, is because as a woman, you can't have a bad day. So, like,
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So if I'm out there killing it, obviously nobody's going to paddle up to me and say anything, right? But if
Right.
I'm having an off day, everybody has an off day, you know, you just can't get in the wave, you're pushing, you know.
I think you told me
Do you
before
have an
that's-
off day?
well, yeah. I mean, I have off days.
Yeah,
you know.
come
No,
on,
you
admit
don't.
it.
Come
You
on,
heard it here.
Austin.
You
I
heard it
have
here.
off days. You know, I fall sometimes.
But I just want to circle back real quick to that, what you're touching on about being a female surfer, because I was having a quick conversation with our Royal Knight, Sir Chet, local guy here, and I don't know that to be true, but was there ever an incident where you were paddling out and surfing the jetties where you had a semi-conflict or an issue with
Oh, he's getting my...
service? I dig deep, I know. And so, and the
That's
reason
good.
why this is important
That's
for
good.
you to address that, it is so wrong, and we should welcome beginners, and especially females. And I don't know what happened, but I want to know.
I'd like to shout out. No, I'm not going to say the
No,
guy's name.
there is some localism
I'm not
maybe
gonna say.
happening we don't know about.
Well, no, actually, I think it was maybe a little localism, but I think it was definitely the woman thing. I think it was, especially at this point in my life. I have an 8-year-old. I run 2 businesses. I don't get to surf all the time. Got a little fluffy with I got recently married, and we're all happy. And you know, I don't look like I'm out there just killing it. You know, I look like a middle-aged woman on a surfboard. Okay,
And
We're
we
just gonna
welcome
say it,
middle-aged
okay?
women on surfboard.
Right. So I'm sitting out there one day. I'm at the end of this great session. I'm so glad we got to talk about this. A little rant.
No, go. I love it.
That's what we're here for. You
So I'm
know.
at the end of this great session. I want one wave in. That's it. And, you know, when someone paddles out, like I was there at sunrise, so I'm done. This person didn't get out there at sunrise, and you could tell they were upset about it. They paddled out on a mission, you know,
Yeah.
big old board, and just starts taking wave after wave. And also, you know, on a morning when a front had just come through, that first couple hours, it's really good, and then the sets get further
Yep.
and further in between, and you're like, so that one wave, it's not coming, right?
Right.
And this guy's just, I feel bad. Is he gonna watch?
You don't
this?
have to drop names, but give us a scenario.
So he's taking all these waves,
We know you're watching.
and so let's see. Let me set it up. So I'm waiting, closest to the
Peak.
peak.
Okay. Okay.
Once again, grew up in Puerto Rico. There's like, I know you guys have been talking a lot about etiquette. There, it's very basic, right? You sit by the peak, you catch the wave. Here, it's not so basic. It's kind of hard to tell. There's a lot of different factors involved. But
Yep.
that day, there was a peak. It was beautiful set waves, you know. And I take a wave, I turn right, because I like going right. And he gets in from down the way, right? So he paddles in not at the peak. He paddles in after I'm standing up, drops in, turns left towards the peak, which a lot of people do because that's how you catch waves here, right?
Right.
And then bottom turns in front of me, like right in front of me. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, you know, dropped in on me, but that's okay. So then get out. Next wave does the same thing, but this time starts yelling at me as I'm riding down the face. So I've dropped in over here because he's going left and he wants to go all the way to the peak to turn around, and that didn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah.
So I told him,
Don't
can we
you-
cuss on this thing?
No, but I find
I
that.
mean, we can cuss,
Austin,
man.
don't
We
you
can
think
cuss,
that's
yeah.
totally disrespectful?
Yeah.
Told him you
Yeah.
need to get off the wave,
Yeah.
you know?
We
Yeah.
agree. It's disrespectful. You shouldn't do that to a lady, regardless of circumstances, whether you're at a coffee shop. It's just, you know, you just don't do that. And I'm sorry that
Well,
happened.
he was, you know, he was. Is he, you know, is he going to do that to me?
Probably not.
You know.
Well, and that's the thing. The thing is, I know what happened. He saw me sitting there. He saw me paddling, and we all do this. I do this to women. Like, I do it. And I think she's not going to get that wave, or I think she's not going to do anything with that wave, or I think you make these assumptions, right, and these calculations, and so you go ahead and make your judgment call, and you go ahead and do that. And that's one of the things we need to work on changing, because just because it's a woman doesn't mean they don't know what to do with a wave, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't. But if you watch them on one wave fail, that doesn't mean that they're terrible surfers.
No.
I think you give a lot more grace to men naturally than we do to women.
And that's wrong. I mean, it really is. We should welcome female surfers of every age to come into the sport and to stay into the sport. It's good for the sport.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it just. I always just look at can you surf or not, and
Right.
that's
You don't
pretty
just-
much
yeah.
me. I don't
Well-
really care out there, but yeah, there's a lot of people who just automatically assume that, and there hasn't been a lot of.
No, that was one
that was
thing. Like, and
Right.
that's what I'll go back to say. Thank you for letting me talk about that.
No,
we shouldn't do that. But also, we have the best surf community ever in Texas. And when it comes to women, I mean, thank all you guys who aren't douchebags out there that are letting women and encouraging them. And I see people let people on waves all the time.
Yes.
Back off to let them get in it. I mean, we have a really great community. So,
I think we're
you know.
getting better at it.
yeah.
Welcoming.
Well,
women.
I mean, there's probably a lot more women that's out there surfing than there has
Yeah.
been in a long time. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
And good
So,
ones, like
yeah,
you said.
yeah.
That helps. I mean,
So-
it is a competitive sport.
I would say,
we're
like,
competing for a wave.
in
Like,
the,
I'm not saying
Thank you.
you
in
have
like
to.
TGSA, right?
Yeah.
I would say, like, when I'm not in a lot of contests right now. I'm gonna try to get some more in the next couple of years. It seems to me I'm seeing like a lot more of the young girl surfers in there versus it seems like they just kind of dominate the numbers.
Yes.
It seems like. So.
And that's good because the young group of surfers that are upcoming female surfers, if you go to one of those TGSA events and you see these little girls surf,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got
the
one.
sisters.
We
The sisters are really good.
Oh, yes. There's
got,
just
yeah,
so
they are
many.
good. Well, we got one on our team, on Team Psycho. So she rides Psycho surfboards.
her
Claire.
name?
Claire.
Claire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's killing it. She's been getting some first place and stuff like
So-
that. So
That's awesome.
Also, some information from our night searchette that there's a secret spot called Margarey's Right. And I'm not going to give the location away. This is a break that's named
Better
after
not.
her because she has so much patience. When everyone else is maybe getting a little bigger waves, maybe getting a little more consistent waves, there's this little tiny secret spot they go to.
You
And
know
I think
why?
that's great.
You know I go there?
No,
Because it
what's
has
that?
power. It breaks like a point break.
There
like
you
it's
go.
one little, I don't know if there's a rock there or a sandbar, but when it comes in just right,
yeah, I mean it is kind
and
of.
it reforms like a point break.
Yeah.
That location.
It's right against the
Shut
you know
your
where.
mouth.
It's
No,
right
no, no,
against the you know where.
It's not like it's
Yeah.
actually secret. Everybody always just sees me out there sitting
Secret
and
spots.
bobbing around and being pissed off because it's not coming through.
Yeah. So was it any like in Puerto Rico?
Mm-hmm.
Was it different? Like as far as the lineup, was there more women out there? Was there a lot of women? You had some women you surfed with, so I guess it
Yeah,
kind
I
of.
had my group. We're called
Yeah.
the Surf Biatches. We still have like a text group. And we keep
That's
in
cool.
touch. Yeah,
That's cool.
we actually met. I'm just gonna little shout out to them. It's a fun story. This is back when I was wild and free. We met at a surf competition at one of our favorite breaks called La Ocho. I don't know if you ever surfed La Ocho. If you're a longboarder and you go to Puerto Rico and you just want like a big, fun longboard wave, go to La Ocho. What is happening? I feel
Oh,
like
we have
we're having-
Airbnbs upstairs.
That is
and
not
I
an
think
earthquake.
It sounds like something's going on up there.
What is it though?
There's kids running
Yeah.
back and forth.
Sounds like the washing machine is that's what happens. So in the
I
surf
think it's-
station here, guys, we have an Airbnb upstairs.
Yeah,
You know,
if
you
you
come
need to
stay.
rent it,
Yeah,
there's a
come
plug.
on, come on. You
Yeah,
never
a
know.
little.
Sometimes we got somebody back there sanding boards. You never know what's
never
going
know.
on. For the last 2 weeks, we had kids running back and forth
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole time. Yeah, so
It sounds
but-
extra crazy because
Yeah.
of the headphones.
But you never know.
Anyway,
yeah.
so La Ocho, we were at a surf competition. It was longboard surf competition. And these girls were heading to the West Coast to Rincon to hang out for like a week. And they were just like, hey, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah. And I had my backpack and my board. And I went for a week with them. And then we all became like really close friends. So, yeah, the surf at the time when I lived there, there were not that many women
Right,
surfers.
right.
So you were kind of like you're a gang member, actually.
Gang
surf women, female surf gang from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
thing I learned about you, you are a musician. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's just a little thing on the side. There for a minute, I was playing in a band. We were called the Flowerettes. That was really fun.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that just happened randomly. And then now I just play every once in a while. I got to play yesterday at the Lake Jackson Farmers Market with Brittany Doyle. Basically,
great.
whenever I get a little time and I say, hey, are you playing somewhere? And we just go and we jam and have fun.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Just to tell you guys, and this you're going to be interested and probably have a little quick input. You know, the subject that we're going to move into next is board design. From Austin, I have to tell you everything about a board, from foam to rails to this, that, and the other. And I suspect it's going to be multiple episodes because this gets deep, and I'm the most uneducated person about this. And I'm so excited to go into this information to learn about. You know, you've been surfing so multiple decades, and I really don't know. What is the two foams that you laughed at me about? Because I didn't know the difference.
You got EPS.
EPS.
And polyurethane foam. People call it PU.
I'm still learning, man. This is good stuff.
Yeah, you know, we're going to talk
Clark
about
foam.
like board design, board construction, some other stuff like that. I thought that, I've seen you on a lot of different boards, Margarey, so I
Me?
figured,
Oh.
yeah. And Jeff rides a bunch of different boards, so I figured, we're going to kind of get into it, and you're going to be our guest because I thought it'd go together pretty good because
Yeah.
you ride, I've seen you on a longboard and a shortboard and an egg, stuff like that.
Fish.
So it'd be kind of
That
a fish. So it'd be kind of, what's your preference as far as like board design? Is it like where you're surfing, or do you have
So-
just something you want to ride? If you could ride one board all the time, what would it be?
So forever.
Forever. It's the
Forever
only-
it was.
it's the only
No,
kind of board.
not anymore. Not anymore. Again, this is like pre being a mom and like when I
Yeah.
was in really good shape. So forever, I loved, for whatever reason, the 9-1 Fireball Magic. Not Magic. Oh my gosh, I forgot it. It was been
Mega
my love.
Magic?
No, oh no. The Fireball
The Fireball.
by
Oh, those are
McTavish.
Those are
McTavish,
Oh,
thank you.
McTavish.
Yeah.
McTavish makes the
There it is,
Fireball.
yeah,
It's,
McTavish.
it's a high
Right.
performance. It's a
It's a
high
high
performance
performance
longboard.
longboard, yeah.
It's pretty thin.
Pintail.
Yeah.
Just like your regular tri-fin. I love that board so what happened was I started surfing in Puerto Rico, shortboard.
Mm-hmm.
Did that until I moved and went to college in Texas, Corpus. Rode a longboard. Went back to Puerto Rico on a longboard. No one rode a longboard except for at this one or two.
Now we got sirens going on outside. So
It's
who
going
knows?
down. It's Surfside.
You never know.
Surfside, man. I
So-
love it.
So anyway, so I came back went back to Puerto Rico and wanted to longboard. I fell in love with longboarding in
Cool.
Texas, and
Yeah.
then, but you really can't ride like a log on these, dumpy.
So like when we like the jetties is the place to ride your log, right? When it
Yeah.
really lines up. So that's the place to ride a log.
that's
So,
true.
so you high performance longboard,
High performance longboard.
Yeah.
For sure.
Let me ask you this
No,
question.
but not now.
but not now. So
Now I need something very floaty.
So now you just want a 9 foot 9'6" log.
Go ahead. Keep
Yeah.
going.
No,
9,
let-
10.
Nine-
Let me
10
ask
foot.
you this question. Austin kind of touched on it quite a bit, I think, in another podcast, but about beginners and what they should start out with and things like that. So what's your suggestion to, like you said, the middle-aged woman that wants to get out, she's tired of doing the yoga and all those different dance classes, and they want to learn to surf. What's an entry-level board? What would you recommend for them to get started?
So one of the interesting things that I think guys don't think about with women a lot is our arms aren't as long as yours typically. So you
Interesting.
think about, you want to go, oh, I'm going to put them on the floatiest board there is. But a lot of times it's super hard for women to carry them and move them around. I've seen a couple of your designs that they've requested the
We put a handle in there.
handle
for
in
'em, yeah.
there. I think that's great because otherwise you don't want this thing that you can't even get
Yeah.
out there. So, I'd say a standard, it depends on
Some of the soft
their
tops have
fluffiness,
handles. But-
Yeah, a soft top would be good, or if there's someone that's really wanting to do it, I'd say a good, 9, what do you think, 9'4",
Yeah, it's 9 foot to 9'6". Depends on
Yeah.
their height and weight and everything like that.
kind
so.
of wide, but those one boards that we teach people on are so great.
The catch surf.
No, the other ones.
No, the
The
McFannings. Yeah,
the
yeah.
McFannings.
So those things were good. Yeah, those
that
things
wide
have
base.
a lot. Those things have a lot of the words I hate. Volume and I hate that word.
Which is
Yeah,
great
surfboards.
for learning,
It's
though.
big. It's a big board. It's wide in the
So
tail.
good for
So yeah.
learning.
The thing is when you're learning, you want to just catch waves, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that
and it to be stable.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to pop up, 'cause
we've
they're-
found that teaching the board easiest to learn on and stand up on and go straight on is almost the hardest board to turn on.
Boy, you're not kidding about that.
Yeah.
And, I think the shortcut on that is, don't run out and buy a, real expensive board when you're starting. Come take a lesson. Go to, school surf, come take a lesson, because in that lesson you're going to learn about boards. You're going to learn about what's the beginner board and how do I progress and things like that. So that's kind of the shortcut that wasn't available to us when we started surfing. We just very much
Whatever
like you. You know, you followed that guy around. That's what I used to do, is listen to the good surfers and kind of follow them around and see what they did, and that's just kind of how you learn.
Yeah. You
But-
get whatever hand-me-down board is
Yes.
available.
Yeah,
and
whatever it is.
go
But
for it.
you know, before we get forget, we just do a quick up and down the coast, which we like to do. You know, just kind of entwine
down
there.
the coast.
Up and down.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I love
there we
it.
go.
Up
We'll have to
and
get a
down the
little.
coast.
Wait,
a little.
just wait till I get all the editing, going. We'll have all.
I don't think it's any great secret that we have some really good waves the last few days, over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, whatever it was. And I mean, there was tons of standout surfers here in Surfside. The Nelson brothers, God dang it. Of course, Johnny McGee. All kinds of guys were ripping. The waves were really, really nice. Now, allegedly, Austin's going to let us know about this. Supposedly, we have more of this coming, correct? Possibly.
It looks like it's going to build through the week,
Okay.
right? It's just going to kind of gradually get bigger, and then it looks like Saturday we're going to have some pretty good surf. It's looking like a 4 to 6 foot swell, so that's going to be like 2 to 3 foot on the beach, right? So generally, a lot of people always like ask us too. They're looking at the surf report and they see like the buoy and the swell, and it's like 6 foot. Generally in Surfside, I think mostly down the Texas coast, almost. It's generally like half. So if it's a 6 foot buoy, it's 3 foot surf. So it's looking like the swells 4 to 6 foot. So we're gonna have like 2 to 3 foot surf, which a legit 2 to 3 foot
Yeah.
surf's decent.
Can I say something?
Yes. Chime in.
That was the other really hard thing about moving to Texas, is figuring out how to read. I could tell
Very
you
good point.
all along the Puerto Rican coast, I could tell you based on the report what wave was breaking exactly based on the wind, the swell direction, or whatever. I still have no idea. what's
Such a
happening.
great point.
So that's like pretty brave of you to be able to like say, hey, I think it's going to do this.
You have to pretty much be a weatherman
You
here.
do, you absolutely do.
Now, it's all depending on like fronts here, right? So
Yeah.
like if that front stalls or picks up, so it could be like, right now it's looking like Saturday, right? I think it's pretty much just, you're looking at how much wind is going to blow onshore for how many days, and then how much, when we're going to have a front and turn around, right? And then which direction we are, right? Everybody doesn't know.
Oh yeah, the
you know,
direction, because we're like on a slant, like a angle.
To quote my best bud Mel, buddy,
Melvis Presley,
I'm
our
glad you're doing
local surfer.
he just likes to say, I don't know all that stuff. I just go look at the surf and I go.
It's how simple is that?
So there you go.
I love that, man.
There you go.
I'm going to completely derail this and talk about the first time that I met Mel.
Please,
Was we
no,
had a
that's- yes.
giant surf lesson that we had to do right at the beginning with like 15 kids, and so we couldn't handle it by ourselves. And Austin's like, "Oh, I got a buddy.
No, go.
I got a buddy. He can come and help and teach." And I swear he was cussing the,
Oh, no.
not cussing him, but he was like, he was happy,
like happy cussing.
yeah,
Right.
happy
Like
cussing.
stoked for
Oh
him,
yeah, you got it.
You know how every surf town has like a local guy that's like that? Mel's that guy. He's a character, a solid guy, good
But
surfer.
except for in
but he's a
Surfside,
character.
Surfside, we have like 15 characters
Or more, yeah.
or more. So yeah.
Anyway, sorry to derail the forecast,
No,
but yeah, Mel.
that's what we love about this thing.
But yeah,
We can do anything we
but
want.
yeah, a lot of people say that. Mel always says, I just look and go,
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have to be like weathermen here, and really, it's which way it's facing. We don't have a lot of groundswell, right? So you're not thinking, oh, it's a groundswell, it's going to hit this spot and go. It's wind swell that makes a groundswell and then comes out. So
yeah.
And then if
yeah.
it hits in the middle of the night, that's the one that hates.
we have been
hates that.
having that all year. It seems like where
I
the
hate
best
that.
the best waves have been like at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I even sent Jeff and Jeff and Chet a text last night that I said it looks really good at 10 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are we going?
Yeah,
we
so
get some
fun.
floodlights,
Yeah.
floating lights.
We
So,
do that.
but yeah, so it does look like there's going to be surf building all week. This weekend looks like it's going to be pretty good.
Yep,
So the
yep.
surf contest is not going to be on though, because it looks like they've put it on hold until
Yeah, for spring break.
spring break.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be. They're not going to have that.
When is that supposed to be? When
It's going to come back on
weeks.
call the 29th and 30th.
Two
for
weeks.
here? And
Yep.
Okay.
In
Cool.
Surfside.
We
So it's
typically
gonna-
don't.
TGSA?
Yeah, we don't do the competitions during spring break. Families, a lot of our young competitors
Yeah.
are going here, there, and everywhere. And Man, yeah. So the waves were epic. There was a lot of guys ripping here.
Brett Hopkins said he came down here, right?
I saw him.
You
Him
with
and Gabe, I saw
yeah,
him.
he said he came down here and that he waited around and then I guess drove down here and they made a little trip.
Yeah, it was fun, man. When I wasn't surfing this little swell we have, I was just watching. And so many good surfers, man. Ivan Levine, local guy, good surfer. Style Master, his girl Jess.
Oh yeah, I'm really liking seeing everything she's doing.
Yeah, oh, she's great. As a matter of fact, throw her bone out there, man. She is a great little painter, and she is doing on the back of the beach house. She's doing from east to west a painting on the back of her beach house. It's going to be so cool. And Surfside. And so if you want your house painting, you go see Ivan. If you want, a tapestry, a really cool painting, you go see Jess. So that's how that works.
And the best vibes, both of them.
Totally good people, man. So real quick, I'm going to hit the Corpus Christi. Man, they caught the same swell. Our correspondent down there, Stefan Lewis, he was so pumped. And listen, check the internet. Tony Woodall's got some pictures out there. Absolutely epic Corpus. If you're not seeing this is great. And he told me that it was just completely solid, swirly top, legit 4.5.
Swirly top.
Yes, legit.
4.5 swirly top.
Boy,
man.
I'm telling you.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And so, man, and there's some great shots of him out there and some other local surfers in Corpus. And I think it was epic. From what I saw on the still shots, just epic down there. And then I guess they got the swell further down. Did you get a hold of anyone down there to kind of see what the scoop was?
Well, yeah, I talked to Erin. She unfortunately didn't get to go out, but she said that it was really good. She just gave me a little rundown.
A little gossip?
Yeah, well, she just told me that spring break they're having the family SPI sessions.
Mm-hmm.
They have great instructors down there. Then like we said last time, they're doing some bay. They're doing some bay stuff now too, where they're doing fishing and kayaking.
Mm-hmm.
She said they got a spring break family adventure package.
I saw where she's doing SpaceX tours.
Yeah, I saw
on the
that
jet
too.
ski.
How cool is that,
That's cool.
man?
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, they got all kinds. She said join any of the two sessions together and you get a deep discount and you add on the Sand and Monsters Off-Road package. So it sounds like they got all kinds of stuff going on down there. So, but she did
talk
say
about a killer
she missed it.
woman surfer, kite surfer,
She is.
mom.
Oh, yeah.
All the things.
She is.
Erin is
We
an
can't
excellent
leave
surfer
her
on the
out.
Texas Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then we've got we focused on people here in Surfside, but heading down the coast, there's Serena. Serena was a child when I went to A&M Corpus when I lived down there, and John, her dad.
No, she's a great surfer.
She's insane,
yeah.
and I think I'm just gonna claim it. I think I pushed her on her first wave.
Good for you.
I don't know that's for sure, but I remember she was like Maya's age then, just running around on the beach. Olivia, Olive.
Olive.
Yes, yes.
I love her style.
She has got a
Beautiful.
great style,
Beautiful.
man. Super
Great
good competitor.
surfers,
And, I think collectively speaking, we have a good contingency of women surfers here in Texas. We just need to encourage it and develop it. And I think that's really, really important, for any sport, especially something that's still traditionally male-dominated, that we just need to educate. To any age, doesn't make a difference. Come take a lesson. Get on the surfboard.
And that's going to make me shout out to Missy, who has
Love
been
that
so
girl.
much fun to watch because, when I came here and started surfing, I had been surfing for a long time at that point, right? So I've kind of, if anything, I've degraded in my surfing skills over the last decade. It happens. You got other priorities. Things happen.
It's like riding a bike. You know what I'm saying? You just get out there.
Except for, Well, but it's been so neat to watch her. I remember back then, early on, and she would ask me questions, Right. I remember one day it was big offshore, just like that thing we never get, right? But she'd never surfed that, so she kept nose diving. She didn't know how to, and I told her go down when you're paddle in at an angle,
right?
And she did it, and then she started just catching them. And now I go out there, I'm like, man, she's running the nose. She loves the wave. Yeah. She loves. That's the cool thing.
She's a skater too. She's a hardcore skater.
Saying lose like an ear. And just
she
keep going.
is beekeeper.
Yeah,
skater.
She's a prototype of how to mesh into a surfing community. I love her. She came down. She played the game, got to know people. Went down the beach, surfed. Eventually, now I surfed with her just the other day. I think she was getting longer waves than me.
I think the key is loving waves.
Yes.
It's just if you love waves, you're gonna fall into the community because that's what's bringing us all here. And that woman loves waves. If you had to ask her, you want to hang out and go party or do something, or do you want to surf? She's going to say, I want waves all the time, you know?
100%.
Right.
So
right.
I think that's the
So,
key.
Did we miss any other cool stuff?
Brett sent me an email.
Brett
Brett Hopkins,
Hopkins.
you know, Hurricane
The
Hopkins.
legend.
Yeah, he was just kind of telling me some updates in Galveston. You know, he told me that they came down here that day that it was real windy. Came down
Right,
surf,
right.
and he was kind of talking about Galveston. I told him just give me a quick update on Galveston. It was kind of crazy down there
Okay.
with that, that senior skip day and all that stuff.
I saw that.
So he said, it was pretty crazy. All those events happened, and he was just kind of telling me the TGSA. He does a lot of TGSA.
Mm-hmm.
He was just kind of mentioning that at the end of it's coming up with we got Surfside coming up.
Yeah,
And
both his
then-
sons, his grandson,
Yeah.
real good surfers.
And then I guess it's going to end. It ends in Waco, right? Didn't there?
The
have the
John
state-
Olvey State Championship will be in Corpus Christi, Texas,
Yeah.
and then we go to Waco, which is not really part of the point system, but it's kind of a bonus.
Right.
States and Corpus is here?
Yes, isn't that
Oh,
cool?
yeah,
Love
that is cool.
And
Yeah.
shout out to Yvonne Olvey. She is just a sweet lady and an ultimate promoter, and has really put together a good contest. So keep your eyes on that for the Texas State Surfing Championship. Come down and see that, even as a spectator. It's epic. You talk about seeing some really good female surfers. Come to one of them events and see the women's divisions. Man, it is pretty cool to see.
Yeah. No, they got, like I said, and then
Yep.
being able to go to Waco at
That's
the end,
cool.
man,
That's
that's
the
just
fun.
cool.
That is
you know
cool.
What I'm saying? That's one thing they do. So yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna, like I said, we'll start getting into
Boards.
the next couple weeks.
Boards
We're gonna
are
start
coming.
getting bored. I had a lot of people just in the water, just asking about. You're always asking. We're just in there building boards or working on something,
Yeah.
and what's the difference between
nothing.
this and that and the fins, and I'll try to bring some pieces of foam, different pieces of foam out and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people have preferences, but then a lot of people don't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't care. They don't know. I always, being a shaper or a board builder, I kind of liken it to be like the surfer's like the race car driver, and then we're like the car builder, right? And you got the engine builder, or the guy who builds the whole car. And some guys, they want to know why it goes fast and maybe even give advice to make it go faster. And then some guys are like, man, I don't care. I just want to go fast.
Yeah, that's me.
they
Just put me in the
they just
cockpit.
Don't even tell me. And so,
Yeah.
it's not, I think a lot of times, you can maybe be a better surfer if you know some things, but some people, man, maybe it's better if they don't know. They just,
That's me.
the
The less I know, the better.
Do it. So, I mean,
But I'm so interested in what I don't know about board and board design. So as we get into this in the next few podcasts, man, I am so pumped to be able to learn stuff that I have not known. But go ahead on here.
Well, just one of the things I miss about Corpus and that scene there on North Packery,
Right.
we had this group, and every weekend, I mean, all the time, it was everydayers, we'd all sit around, and everybody, because we had beach. That's the sad of right here in Surfside.
we're working on it. We're
Yeah,
working
I
on
know.
saving
It's
our
so
beach.
sad.
Hopefully.
But because we had that beach, so we'd all just be hanging out, and so you got to ride all kinds of different boards. Because as people got new boards, we'd all just sit there and hey, can I take that out for a few rides? So we swapped boards a lot, and I think that was kind of my education in boards was that, because I got to ride,
getting to try
just
different
getting
things,
to try
yeah.
different things and realizing, oh my gosh, because it really does perform completely different depending on these little.
There's so many things, like the thing I like about single fins is you can change the fin and you can be a totally different board.
Yeah.
Sometimes the thrusters not as much you could change. I mean, there's a million things, and you get into like some people like certain constructions better than others.
It's gonna be
Some
great.
people are EPS, poly. Some people don't know the difference. There's all kinds of
Yeah.
things. And then you have people have their own ideas.
Do you have a preference?
I do really. I think I mostly have a preference on a longboard.
Yeah.
So longboard, fish and egg. I like poly better.
Yeah. Don't you feel like it helps you
I
sit into
feel like
it?
I feel like it's just a little heavier, and it just does sit into it
Yeah.
more. It doesn't bounce as much.
Yeah.
I guess if you're trying to do airs and you're high performance and all this stuff,
Yeah.
EPS is good. It's floaty and it sits on top of the water, and it's kind of.
I feel
rough.
disconnected when I'm on EPS. I don't know what it is. It's like my soul. I don't like
it's
lock
different.
in.
And I mean, we build our boards some different than other people because we use. We build everything. It doesn't matter how you want it, as long as it's the right way. We build it. But PU foam, so polyurethane foam, epoxy resin, glass, fiberglass, glass, laminated with epoxy resin, and then we do some things that some people in the industry say you can't do, or you do you do your
you rebel.
Back
we're
in the
rebels,
laboratory in the
we,
back.
We do a epoxy fill coat, you know, and then we do a secret sand job that we're not going to tell you about. It's a
secret sand job.
proprietary.
I do secret sand jobs too.
Proprietary to the Psycho surfboards, and then
Now
we
you know what's
and then
going
we
on
do
over here.
then we do a polygloss coat. You know, so you have
This is Greek to me.
it's all crazy. So that's stuff we're going to talk about. We're not going to get too deep into
No,
it. but-
we are, because this is going to be so fun going down that journey of just board construction and what's what. But, man, I'm going on record. Miss Margarey Valdez, you're an awesome lady, man. You
Thank
inspire a lot of people, and myself, I think you're a really good role model for female surfers.
Thank you.
And surfers in general. And I think I think you put into what you get out of it, and I think you put in exactly what you got out of it. So,
Thank you.
man, it was a
Yeah,
pleasure.
we appreciate you coming out here and
appreciate it.
everything. So, you want to give a shout out? Y'all got enough clients? You want to give a shout out to what you're doing, your business and everything?
Marketing?
Let everybody know what you're doing for sure. So you know if they want to get a hold of you for anything. 'Cause,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, hey, she did my website. It looks pretty good.
It looks
so.
very good. Yeah. And so, School of Surf. 'Cause we got a new
School of
website
Surf,
this last
yeah.
year.
And the School of Surf's looking
School
real
of
good.
We almost did a rebrand.
Yeah.
We were real close to a rebrand, but then we kept it the same. So I own a marketing company.
Marketing company.
Yeah, that's where most of my time is. We specialize in brands and websites, and I do marketing strategy too. So if you're like looking at the next year of your business or wanting to start a business and you need some help, I'll sit down, talk you through it, help you make all the right decisions. I run a business with this guy mostly during the summer. We've kind of narrowed it into the summer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are we going to do a lot more this year? Are we going to say we're going to do a lot more and then
We'll probably do some private
do a
lessons
little
and
bit.
stuff like that.
Come take a lesson. These
we're
guys are
both really
great at
busy,
doing
but
that.
it's fun.
But yeah.
And then the best thing ever that I do is I have an 8-year-old daughter who is awesome. Her name is Maya. A lot of y'all know her.
Yes, we do. She's a
She
blessing.
does not love surfing, which
That could
has
change.
happened.
Kids change.
She comes out, she'll surf,
She
she'll
goes
catch
surf, yeah.
she surfs, she
Yeah.
does great, but I don't push it. I just let it go, and then
You're a
she is
good mom.
really into crabbing. She loves catching crabs.
That's great,
So
man.
that's what she wants. I'm like, you want to go to the beach? She's like, yeah, and she goes to get her bucket. So
Well, you're a
that's it.
good mom, I can already tell.
That's
But
cool.
Thank
So-
you, thank
But
you.
yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
we appreciate you coming on, and
Thank
you know,
you, everybody
hopefully
out
we'll
there.
see,
Guys, for
see you out in the
listening.
water a little more. So
Oh, I know.
know.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
This is the year.
Yes.
don't sell those
No.
surfboards.
And
I
listen,
need a bigger floatier board.
before we go, I just got to say I apologize to Matthew McConaughey. He's back there in the green room. We did not have time for him
Sorry,
tonight,
Matthew.
so
I took too
apologize
much
for
time.
that. We'll get him next show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Y'all
Love
have a good
you.
one. Peace
Bye.
out.
Bye-bye.